But I've been running around doing a couple of different things here. Let me just adjust this ever so slightly. And it looks like I'm going full force on TikTok right now, so it's become very interesting. Sorry for not being here. My apologies. I know it's a bit of a strange time. Husband also likes to have a little bit of the weekend with him. So I think balancing it out, there needs to be a bit of a balance. So we might have to alternate. Maybe one week I do the lives, the next week I don't do the lives on the weekends. But I'm working at my best on this. I'm also trying my hardest because now I have a manager or an agent or an agency that I'm kind of working under for well, the arts. I suppose it's the arts. I can't just say it's just music now. I think we are now integrating a various variety of things going on, and I've been doing a lot of talking today. We went live today with the fur babies in the morning and wound up having about 400 and something people on the other side watching and observing the live. So it's been a bit of a day. And I'm supposed to, I think what's going to happen now is I'm going to help people prepare to start going live on a few different platforms if it helps them. Maybe more so on TikTok, because I think a lot of people are very curious to know how that works on that side. So I think TikTok walks you through it, but I also think watching a person doing it in front of you is another thing. I usually do 3 o'clock at this time, 12 o'clock at this time on a Saturday, but this happened to be one of those days. I just couldn't make it, so I'm just doing it now. My apologies for it not being on the time frame as everybody else probably wanted me to do it. No makeup today. I just don't think that will be a thing I'm going to worry about because I have lots to think about. So I'm meeting a lot of really phenomenal musicians on TikTok. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it at all. I'm absolutely overjoyed to see the enthusiasm of other musicians coming together and uniting on a platform, and it's so interactive. You can literally just pop in and out whenever you feel like it throughout their day, which is so cool. So yeah, that's where I am right now. What we're going to do today is I'm just going to do a brief discussion on how we did the Houdini song, I suppose, from, I guess going live might be a better bet than to just talk about it, from Abracadabra. Houdini song that Eminem just released, and we're just going to do the small main clip of the Houdini song. And then it was originally another song called Abracadabra back in like the 80s or 90s. Welcome in. I'm doing a really short kind of discussion. I've been so busy doing all these other things. It's actually exhausting. I don't know if people realize how exhausting it is to be doing lives on a consistent basis on a few different platforms. It's not just one anymore. Now we're talking like, I could do it on Facebook, but I'm trying not to stay. I'm staying away from Facebook. I am doing it on TikTok, trying to do that every day. I have Poshmark as well, and of course YouTube. So this becomes like for me, it's more exhausting than you think. It's a lot of work that goes into trying to maintain the sanity of daily life through this process. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to just play the background and we're going to break it up. Okay, and then I'll show you at the end how it was done. So it starts with A minor pentatonic. Okay. Okay, that's A minor pentatonic. We're talking about the song Houdini. So if you guys ever want to try it, just remember A minor pentatonic. Somebody said A minor, just not quite. There is a sharp in there. Or you could say a flat. Okay, not. That's minor, this is pentatonic. Okay, and I know that is a pentatonic because he has a sharp in there, but it starts on A, okay. Okay, so I'm going to just play this now. I don't know how loud it is. I don't want to blast people's. Okay, so before we start, I basically reverse engineered this whole thing. Sorry, my eyesight's absolutely shockingly bad. Oh, thank you. I'm okay. My hands are a little, I'm older now, so I should be a little bit more advanced. I think it's, I think music is sort of like you have to work on it every day to feel confident that you can continue doing it. It's actually good for arthritis. So as you get older, I really do think piano helps with loosening up those muscles, if that makes any difference. For me, I'm getting older. I'm 44 years old, and I know that my muscles have to work in different ways now. It is what it is. I have no makeup on today. I am absolutely exhausted. I'm so sorry that I look like a complete disaster. But what we're going to do is what I did for this particular piece is, I appreciate that though. Thank you, Anna. I have to get close because I can't see. Even my eyesight's terrible. Oh my goodness gracious. So I did record the clip before I've discussed, I think it was like yesterday or the day before. I think it's 2 days ago that I posted it. So you can look on my shorts, and the shorts shows you the entire piece played. Not the entire piece, a section, because I don't want to play the entire piece, just in case it's flagged and they say, oh, it's copywritten and you're not allowed to do this. So as long as it's a little under a minute, it's okay to kind of, I think you can play pieces of other people's pieces, but I think it's more of a cautionary measure to make sure it's not overdone. So, at your own, sometimes at your own risk, right? I'm going to break up the parts. So I'm going to mute. There are 3 sections that I did. So in order to create like a revamp, not a revamp, but I call it re-engineering a track. So you listen, you play by ear, I play by ear, and I read music. So what I usually do is when I listen to a song, and I can't play it on the lives because YouTube will pick it up as automatically somebody else's piece in the background, and then they'll flag it, and we're going to have a whole problem. So this is where the playing by ear comes into play, I suppose, if you want to put it that way. And you practice it before you actually get on the live, so you actually have it memorized, right? Luckily, I did have it played off a little bit before I did this. So it sounds like, it's just the middle part of the song, right? I think you guys would recognize it if I put it with the beats. Okay, so we're going, and I'm going to actually, let's play the whole thing first so you can hear it. Okay. This is not perfectly done, but it's just an example. I think it's just more of an educational, okay, educational. So it's just a clip. Okay, and then I'll show you. So I start. So all these parts I did myself. I didn't, obviously I'm producing the track myself. So this particular version. I'm sure if I play it a few times. That was already recorded. I'll play that part now. I think that was the first one that I did. So we're gonna play that. I did start with a beat first, but it's okay. We'll work with this. So you can hear what I recorded. So I pre-recorded this. Oh, that's the... I will just... Yeah. Okay, and then... And I think this was... Okay, so they're just... So when I worked on it, it's basically literally reverse engineering it. I listened to the piece a couple of times. I analyzed what sounds there were. So there's like an organ sound in one section, and then there's like a kind of like a light keyboard in another section. And then there's obviously a beat. Now the beat that I have is not exactly the same beat as what he would use, but it is in... I analyzed it, and I think the beat was 128. Literally a short abbreviation. I don't rap, so but go, if you haven't listened to it, you'll see it's the same key. Go listen to Houdini by Eminem. Everybody's talking about it now. It's actually a really fantastic piece. It's super cool. It's so fun to listen to. And he's from my generation, right? He's like 51. I'm 44. Yeah, it's about the same era. So I grew up listening to Eminem, if that makes a difference. I'll have you listen to the beats. It's not a great beat. It's just something. But it's almost the same. There was like a similar kind of feel to it. You know. Okay, so I broke it down. I used a little bit of my hearing, my listening, my listening ears for music, and then reversed it to figure out what you can do. So we'll play it one more time, and I'm just gonna do it's just gonna be a quick thing, okay? There's more to the song, and you could probably rap over this. I have videos on music beat making as well. You can always go down if you don't know my channel. I'm Cinta. The channel is called Compose Music with Cinta Margot, and you can obviously hear when a person's playing a composition versus a piece that was re-recorded and produced where you have layers of keyboards, and this is a good example of having a keyboard and you're layering it. So these channels are, these videos are recorded, not only am I going live, but they also pre-record, meaning it's just easier for me to do all of it at once. Same thing applies for TikTok. I've just started going live on TikTok. My manager or agent, he's amazing. He's awesome. I've known him for a while. He's connected to one of my friends, which is super cool. And he works with a couple of people within the industry. And if you guys are talented and you have skills and you're interested in joining our group on TikTok, let me know and I will give you information on what, but first I'd have to see what type of music you have and if you're on TikTok and if you have videos and all that stuff. So he says, send out the invite to people if people are interested in joining us, and we can definitely assist in as many ways as possible to help other musicians or artists or whatever else. So that's the whole thing. I studied jazz, I studied a bit of classical. So I dabble with a few things. I've worked in bands. Hopefully I'll be working with more musicians soon. I'm meeting a lot of phenomenal musicians on the other side, which is why I've been not so often on YouTube, because yeah, obviously I need to socialize with musicians to get inspired. And so far, TikTok is doing a wonderful job with that. So if you are a musician or an artist or a creative person, I think that platform is fantastic for being introduced to a larger community on a closer, more personal level, within whatever field you're dealing with. So it's kind of phenomenal. I was not expecting that. I was more like, oh, I'll test it out and see how it works. But it turns out to be like, oh my gosh, this is like the real thing. Everybody's here. Everybody's obviously on YouTube as well. But I have to say things are moving absolutely so fast on TikTok. I don't even know what to say. So I started off, I had 2 channels. One channel I was already going live, but I wasn't really like into it because it was a different group. And the new channel that I'm on has like, it started off with like 20 people, and then within 2 weeks I'm on like 1,500, 1,600 people that joined me on TikTok. 2 weeks. I couldn't believe it. It's never happened in my entire life, but I think because I'm Gen X and it's like the new thing to talk about, even though it's like an old thing to talk about, opened up that door, because, you know, I think people need to realize that there are a lot of musicians and artists and creatives and business people on there that are obviously older. You know, I'm an older person, but I don't believe I'm older. I say I'm still young. I'm trying to stay young. I hope it's working. Yeah, so that's I'll show you what we worked on. I had somebody sing it. I think she came up with her own lyrics, which was bizarre, and I had those chords from a band that I was in a while ago, and then all of a sudden we put the 2 together and it just worked so well. Here. Is it here? She called it God Saved My Life. It was like another, I'll have you listen to it. She had an amazing voice. So we recorded it here. I don't know in the end what actually happened. Yeah, I'll save that. That's fine. Save. I don't know. Music. Let's just call this one music, whatever that is. And we'll open up. Did something happen? So that's me on the piano. But you gotta listen to the voice. It's amazing. So she came in, we recorded it, I had the microphone, everything. So I've recorded people before. I've seen some bad things, but you take the cake. This is another person saying, not my voice. Your dark side, and I know it wasn't my mistake. I could forgive and I could forget, but you were rock bottom to me. You're as bad as it gets. Now I've been holding my breath for a long time. Just having you listen to it.
From a flat line, and I've been taking my chances. Somebody said a prayer for me tonight, 'cause God saved my life. Some days I believe and some days I don't. I guess that you can say that it's a bit of both. Will you forgive me if I can forget God? This is rock bottom to me. You're taking all that I've got. Now I've been holding my breath for a long time. I'm a moment away from a flat line, and I've been taking my chances. Somebody said a prayer for me tonight, 'cause God saved my life. Now I find myself waiting on the birds to fly south. They can take my heart with them before it bleeds out. Now I find myself waiting on the birds to fly south. They can take my heart with them. I've been holding my breath.
Pretty cool, right? Somebody else, so she was from South Africa. I think she lives in New York now.
I've been taking my chances. Somebody said a prayer for me tonight, 'cause God saved my life.
And I think the point is, it's not just singing it, but I think it's important to understand chord progression. So if you're going to do like piano, for instance, or other instruments, make sure that the quality of the composition is crisp and thorough, and it kind of syncs with the vocalist's voice, and then you mold it together. Now this was an interesting experience or experiment. I had put it on Reverb Nation. It did go to iHeartRadio, and then all this drama happened. And in the end, somebody had hacked into my Reverb Nation, so in the end, we never ended up with anything. So I don't know if I should trust Reverb Nation after that experience, but it just goes to show, if you find the right people to work with and the connections, that things could actually happen and formulate that could become quite phenomenal. Just an example, what I've done in my space. I have other things that I've done with other musicians and other students. So that's just a quick thing today. I don't think I wanted to do too much of a chat. I just want to check the time. I probably need to feed my fur babies again because they need to eat. So those are just, that was just, you guys can go back and hear that track. Yeah, I think Lila's still around. Lila, I think that's her name. Yeah. And that's basically, it's just a random day today. It was just a sit chat. But if there are musicians out there and you're looking to find a space to maybe even just consider going live on TikTok, the person that I have can help with going live, even though you don't necessarily have maybe 1,000 followers. You can still do it. It is possible. I've done it both ways. I've done it after I got 1,000, and then I've also done it before I got 1,000. So I think if you're wanting to test out TikTok and you want to go live and do performances, there are ways around the path of what they initially say you're supposed to have versus what you can actually do. So join me if you want to go on TikTok and test out some new things and explore the idea of going live and access and all that wonderful stuff. You can even join me on here as long as you're over. You could go live with me on here as long as you're over 16. You can most definitely join me on YouTube. It's just I don't want to have younger people going live and then the parents have issues. I want to make sure that it's it's professionally done and formally done, and that is why I've put certain things into place to make sure that it's safe for everybody. It's okay if people see me because I'm an older person and I've sort of set it up myself and put this thing together and manifested this like larger vision. But for kids, I think, you know, you want to be very cautious and careful online and on the internet, because things can happen and things could always go wrong, and you want to just be cautious. That's my thing. So it's nothing too serious today. Just a casual thing. I'll just have you listen to this one last time. No, not this piece. I have other tracks that I have on SoundCloud. I haven't uploaded any newer pieces recently. I have so many things I need to do. I don't want to post this one up because without consent, to make sure that both parties agree to this track, it is considered unjust. So I want to keep that a little bit on the down low, but I'm willing to work with other vocalists, to work with them, to record stuff, all those things. Anything's possible. Or send me, like, if you're a vocalist and you have parts and you're a composer, you can always send me the parts and we can actually mold it together. If you practice, obviously, according to the key signature, and we have a discussion, mold those two together with my equipment, and obviously I send parts over and all that. There are ways to do this. There are ways to do this. There are many things you can do. As long as you understand the technology, it can be done. So that's where I am right now. It was a very quick day. I have a few things I need to do. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm busy working on yeah. Maybe I want to practice this before I actually go live with it, just in case. Sometimes I can't remember parts, so I have to go back and revise the song, which I cannot do on a live because it's on YouTube. YouTube is great to use as a practice session, but you can't record YouTube videos and then place whatever you've practiced on here with those clips, because that's considered copyright infringement. So I have to do that like in silence on my own privately and stuff before I go live and do that. And that's basically it for the class, for this, not even a class, for just the live. I suppose it's more of a live and a chit chat. If anybody has any questions on anything and needs to know like just the basic structure of music theory and how to read like basic notes and all that stuff on piano, I have a whole bunch of videos, about 600 and something videos I have been working on for the past year to put together on this channel for various purposes. I also paint. I'm an artist. I also build stuff. So the soundproofing you see here, I've put together. And yeah, I just do lots of different things. So I have a few different angles I've gone on for this particular channel. Rather than just having one dimension and just focusing on music, I think it's important to have a variety of skills, because those skills can help open up other like kind of things you have. Like if you want to build something, you can learn how to build. I do basics on building as well. I can design. I have architectural drawings that I've done. I enjoy, you know, if I had a larger space, I would build my own proper recording studio space, and construct. You can see these paintings over here. This painting I also did, so I know how to do sculptural elements. Okay, so there are lots of things. Lots and lots of things. And obviously this stuff, the stuff I've built. This is easy to do as long as you have, and it's not expensive. They're cheap ways to go about creating these. It's not, you don't need a ton of money. You just need to have patience. So I suppose you would say my channel can help save money for people who want to put things together on their own, because I can give you those basic skills that you probably need for something like that. Just a quick talk. I do have a video on me building these. I put them together on a live. So you can go back and see soundproofing. Check the soundproofing, you can see what I did and how I put those together with the soundproofing, what they looked like before. And then instead of throwing them out and just discarding the ones that I had with the original material, I placed material over it, and you know, I hammered it in and all that stuff. So it's, you save money by recycling, and that's what I do the best. I recycle. So that's basically it. Okay, folks, thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimashita. Matashita sayonara. And if you're interested in checking out my TikTok channel, my TikTok name is Cinta Margot Anime, or Cinta Margot. You can check me out on both. And anime, because Japan was like the place I grew up, so anime is like the thing for me. I enjoy anime. So I will be back for a better discussive conversation. Maybe talk more about the agency I'm now part of, because the producer is actually friends with quite a few phenomenal people. And I think maybe I should just maybe we can do an interview with them. Maybe I should ask him and say, listen, Nick, do you have like a second? Can we interview you? There are a few people I'd like to interview on this channel. Maybe I should start with that and ask them if they'd join me on an interview on YouTube. That would be kind of a good start. So let's see where it goes. And I have my friend who wanted to do a little bit about her discussion on photography. She did her master's in photography, and she deals with film reviews at the moment, and she goes to cosplay events. So I think she might be the first person we're going to consider interviewing, or I will consider interviewing. Not consider, but I definitely want to interview her, which is like super cool. I can't wait until this happens. And then maybe go on to interviewing other people that I'm meeting within the arts. I would be very fascinated to get everybody on here and just have a talk. So we'll see what happens. That will be interesting if I can get this together on YouTube as well. I'm doing it on, we're learning, I'm doing the lives on TikTok to help other people go live on TikTok just to start. And then we start talking more about like how to put things together. So I'm kind of dispersing my skills in a couple of different ways, right? Okay, folks, thank you so much for joining me. I know it's a random time. I usually come on at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's now about 5:30 here in the United States on my side. So PM, still broad daylight. Yeah, so I wanted to come on, but I know the time is a little bit different than the time that I usually set. And I have to be consistent on TikTok as well, so it's a lot of work. But I do appreciate everybody that pops in and visits. And I will speak to you guys soon, and we will chat in a moment. Arigatou gozaimashita. Matashita sayonara, and jane bye-bye. See you guys later.